Hi peeps, I am still working on the setup for recording in our new space, so this will not be the how this is going to look in the end. I'm just trying out different lighting while I decide what's going to go on the walls for artwork. So for my long-term peeps who love what I have on the walls, don't worry, there's going to be plenty of artwork to inspire you in your journey in the background. But yes, we have moved into our new home, Vincent and I, and we're very excited to be settling in and unpacking and figuring out where things are going. And we are living in this beautiful, quiet space in the middle of the woods, and so it's very Forest Witch vibes. And I wanted to do a Mabon favorite decks today because I am preparing to put up my Mabon Sabbat observance offering on Etsy. As soon as I have that link available, I will try to do my best to remember to post that in the description box down below. I do have a title, I believe, but I'm not 100% sure if this is the right title. I like to let things percolate for a little bit with deity. But I have been feeling so inspired by being in the quiet woods this week and getting a chance to kind of exhale because I'm out in the middle of nowhere. Internet installation is not happening as quickly as it does elsewhere. So I've been very delayed in uploading work videos and also videos across the board and even social media content. So it's been good for me to take a moment and exhale after a very long summer, but I'm so happy to be with you all. And personally, I've really been feeling the energy of Persephone as well as the horned god or Cernunnos. They're going to be the deity focus for the Sabbat observance I will be holding space for on Mabon itself. And certainly personally, I've really been feeling very connected to the energy of Persephone in her dark phase, in her underworld journey, as she embraces claiming her sovereignty and exploring her inner terrain. And I think that that lines up well with the Sabbat of Mabon, which is not only a harvest observance, it's the second of 3 harvest Sabbats, but it's also really a Sabbat that embraces the death cycle and the rebirth that comes from the death cycle, but preparing for that death space. And so it is a wonderful space for reflection, for reevaluation, for embracing the Hermit card energy that is Virgo season. At least that is how I read tarot, that Virgo is ruled by the Hermit card. And so there is that call to look within, to go within, to find the psychopomp within. So I thought I would share the decks that I have been using and really feeling connected to this week as I'm preparing to step into the Mabon space. I am not this is not like a numbered list because there's a lot of decks here and I just really didn't feel like editing myself, taking all of my decks out of their boxes and preparing to get them back on their shelves and saying hi to old friends. Like, it just has me really wanting to enjoy the plentiful collection I have, not honing it or narrowing it down to 5. Now, 2 decks that are off of this list, as always, Tarot of Vampires and the Eyeshadow Oracle. I use them every day, year round, so it feels unfair to always put them in my deck lists. But I would say this time of year, anyhow, I'm feeling more drawn to Tarot of Vampires, especially as I move into October, November, and December. That is typically my main tarot deck across the board. But Tarot of Vampires is in daily use for me. So I think I will start with the Queen Mab Oracle. Not only do I enjoy the color theme on the box itself for Mabon, which I really do associate with, again, preparing for death, Persephone in the underworld, and this sense of the dark king or the horned god defeating the light god within the space of the goddess preparing to journey through her underworld. And as I said, this year I'm particularly feeling that connected with the energy of Persephone. So the Queen Mab Oracle is wonderful for underworld work. And it is a deck that I do associate with Persephone now, very much so. And I really enjoy connecting with this deck when I am exploring, reclaiming my sovereignty, and themes around when I am handing my power over to others. So I really love this deck for connecting into, again, reclaiming the sovereignty, journeying within, finding the places within ourselves. And this is a really beautiful deck. The illustrations are gorgeous, and it's a beautiful deck for that kind of one card draw, a lot of journaling, really sitting with the messages and the themes and giving yourself time. This is a wonderful deck to savor. And I find this time of year, you know, September into October, is a time that I naturally want to go slow. I want to be in that hermit energy. I want to take my time. And I really love this deck for that. So the Queen Mab Oracle by Tess Whitehurst is on my Mabon list. The Magical Botanical Oracle, I know guys, there's a lot of mixed opinions on this deck. It's so fascinating talking to various viewers about this deck, but I really love this deck. And I'm not a plant witch, I'm not a hedge witch, but I love this deck. I get so much out of daily one card draw. What's the energy? What's the theme of the day? What am I interacting with? How can I show up and be present with it? This is a wonderful deck for that. I really enjoy working with it in that capacity. I do use it to clarify TOV, Tarot Vampires, or the Mary L Tarot typically. And I find this deck also likes the Hermetic Tarot. So it is a good clarifying oracle deck, but I really prefer it for that kind of reflection and daily draw journaling energy, same as the Queen Mab Oracle. So this one is really wonderful for that. Hold on guys, sorry, my throat, I'm also getting over a cold. So coconut pineapple. Okay, let's see what's next. Okay, so I have been using this deck in client readings. This is Oracle of the Radian Sun. One of my wonderful tarot students right now had requested that we work with this oracle deck, and I would never have purchased this deck on my own. I actually love this deck. It's like a cute kid sibling that comes along with you for the ride that you just have such love for, and then every once in a while turns around and gives you some kind of observation that just smacks you upside the head. It's a wonderful deck for clarifying tarot. In fact, I don't use this as a daily draw and journal deck. I use this straight up just to clarify tarot, but there's just something about this one that I love so much. I don't know how to describe it. Again, it's just like my kid brother that I want to, you know, that drives me nuts, but I still love them. That's the only way I can describe this. I really, really am enjoying working with this one. It's been so much fun to get to know. And if you're looking to unite astrology and planetary occult symbolism with the structure of traditional tarot, this is a wonderful deck for that. So it's a great student and study deck as well. The size of it, so here is the Antique Anatomy Tarot. The size of it, as you see, smaller than a traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And so it's really, it's a thick deck, but it's, I don't know why inspiration just fell out. It's a thick deck, but it's not too long. So it's very user-friendly in the hands as well. It's a really nice one to shuffle. So since I showed this, the Antique Anatomy Tarot by, oh my God, can I remember the name? Claire Goodchild. I always forget her name. I'm so glad I purchased this. Never would have purchased this if it wasn't for Empress and Basil. Yeah, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have purchased this deck, and I freaking love this deck. Typically, the flora and bone imagery, well, it is right up my alley, but I think so much was made about these decks when they first came out that for me, I love that image so much. For me, I like really resisted purchasing this, but I could kick myself for waiting, and it's a wonderful deck for this liminal time of that space between summer and fall. Again, where you're preparing to go underground, you're preparing to move into the underworld. It's a great deck, again, for reflection, to take your time with, to really sit with, to not rush, and this deck speaks very profoundly. And so if you can be still enough to listen, you can have a lot of realizations with this deck. So I highly recommend this deck. I love the cardstock. I love the size of it. This is one of my favorite deck backings ever. And the color and tonality is perfect for this time of year. It's just, it doesn't get better than that. The Earthbound Oracle, again, another deck that can be quite controversial. Oh my God, it's upside down. That can be quite controversial. A lot of people have a lot of opinions about this deck. I happen to love the Earthbound Oracle by Skull Garden. It's just, again, it's one of those things that you can't manufacture that feeling when you have a connection with a deck. You just have it. And this is one where it's easy for me to clarify tarot with this. It's a straight shooter. It's short and sweet. It's to the point. And it's also one that I've worked with so much that just holding it in my hand feels good. And it feels close to me. I feel very connected with this deck, very intimate with this deck, very Two of Cups. It's a great clarifier for, say, the Antique Anatomy Tarot, for Tarot of Vampires. Murder of Crows likes this deck to clarify as well for me. So it's just one that the imagery, the feel, again, very much in alignment with this liminal space, and it's just a beloved of mine. It's so beautiful to work with and to draw inspiration from, and I'm really grateful to have that deck and to feel the level and depth of connection that I feel with it as well. So the next deck on the list is the Tarra Oracle. Let me tell you, this is by Lucas Cohn and Lindsay Cummins. This is an indie deck that was gifted to me by a viewer, and I love this deck so much. And I was very torn, like, is it this one or is it Woodland Wardens for the list this year for my Mabon vibes? This one won out a little bit over Woodland Wardens this year, and I still love and use Woodland Wardens all the time, but there's just something about the simplicity of the ink drawings and the effectiveness of this deck to clarify tarot, but also as a single draw journaling spirit animal deck. There's something very special about this one. It has a very unique feel, and I really love this deck. I'm so thankful I have it. And again, when I want to be in that like still space and really be tapped into that inner voice, that inner knowing, the intuition, this is a really, really great deck to do that with. So that's the Tarra Oracle. Okay, the Old Ways Magic Oracle. I have talked about this deck a lot on the channel. I freaking love this deck. And again, the artwork, the color theme, all of it is very much in keeping with this Mabon. Now, as I said, I am primarily working with Dark Persephone right now, but I've also been feeling Hecate and the Morrigan pretty strongly. And this deck just works beautifully with Hecate and Morrigan vibes. So if you're working with either of those faces of deity, or you're feeling that you want to connect with the Celtic Wheel of the Year, or you are feeling very connected with the Celtic Wheel of the Year, the artwork in this deck really, really powerfully evokes that energy. And it gives this beautiful sense of, again, connectedness to the practice. It's all about that reverence and joy for the practice for me right now in my personal journey. I'm so grateful for my practice and the way that it carries and sustains me through times of transition, as so much of this year has been for me and my son personally. But also through the beautiful times as well, through those endings and beginnings, through the underworld, the middle world, and the upper world. Your practice can support you very powerfully, and I'm really profoundly grateful for the path, the practice, for my deity, and for the beauty of working with cards. So I've been very in-depth in my personal practice. Next on the list is the Death Doula Oracle. I've been using this deck with a great many students this year, but also personally throughout the entire summer, and it's going to carry into fall for me. The photography, the imagery in this deck really speaks to me personally, and I think this deck holds that liminal space. It holds that death magic energy. It's a facilitator. It's great for shadow work. It's really great for single draw, journaling, reflection. That being said, it does clarify tarot really beautifully. It's one that I enjoy using to clarify tarot, but primarily I use it for a one card message to connect in with my inner terrain and what I might be releasing, mourning, grieving, coming to understand or integrate for myself. So this is a really, really beautiful deck. I am so profoundly connected to it, and I recommend it all the time as far as Oracle decks go because I think it's really special. It's a shadow work deck, and it's a unique one. So it's a wonderful one to have in your collection. Okay, next on the list is the Memento Mori. Yes, Antique Anatomy and Memento Mori are both on this list. I love this deck so much. This is my favorite. This may be my favorite card backing of all time. Like, it just doesn't get better than this. I love the feel of this deck. I've really worked my own system with it. It is technically a Lenormand and an Oracle deck. I've really developed my own Oracle deck system with it, and I have a lot of the expansion packs as well. It's just, this is another beloved Two of Cups deck for me. The deck claimed me. It was gifted to me as a Yule present by an old friend, and I can't thank them enough because, again, I may not have purchased it on my own, and yet I would be missing out on so much without this deck. And I really am enjoying using this right now in alignment with Dark Persephone's energy and essence. It speaks very, very well to that. And so if you are looking to connect with her energy, Antique Anatomy, Memento Mori. The next deck on the list, Darkwood Tarot as well. Wonderful options. Queen Mab Oracle also. So the Darkwood Tarot for me is very indicative of my own witchcraft journey and how it feels to practice forest magic, how it is to experience being a witch of the woods. And so how could we be connecting with Dark Persephone and not work with the Darkwood Tarot, right? I love this deck so much, and I feel this time of year especially, it's so witchy, it's so autumn, it's so fall vibes, very much a witch discovering her truth and her power and all of the experiences, dark and light and everything in between, that she has within that experience and journey. So the Darkwood Tarot is a wonderful one to work with. And if you are new to tarot, the Darkwood Tarot is a very accessible tarot deck with imagery that may be more up your lane than, say, traditional tarot imagery. Next on the list is Angelarium Oracle of the Fallen. We took a little break this summer, and then the other day, bam, this deck hit me upside the head. Wanted to come forward for a client reading, and it was like, and we have a message for you too. So I have been reconnecting to this one. It's perfect for this time of year. I mean, seriously, it's just perfect for this time of year. And to work with demons, with fallen angel energy and essence around this season is just beautiful. I feel this deck really intimately in a different way than I do, say, the Fallen Angels Oracle. They have very different feel. So for me right now, I'm more drawn to Angelarium Oracle of the Fallen than the Fallen Angels Oracle. And I use this as one card draw. One card draw journal, or one card draw dialogue with the fallen angel that's represented on the imagery. And I found that to be very effective. So that is Angelarium Oracle of the Fallen. How am I doing? We have 2 left. The Weaver's Oracle. I love this deck. I love this deck so much. And it's really meant to be worked with as single card draw, reflection, journaling. I do not use this to clarify tarot, and I don't even use this deck with that many people. It's a very, very private, personal deck for me. And I think when you work with this, you're really connected in with not only crone and tribal energy, but also the elements and the wheel. And so it asks you to sit and stand in place, and from that space, with your feet on the good earth, tap into, where am I on the wheel? What am I exploring in there? What's happening? And what is the crone myth that I am working with that is allowing me to understand myself, my story, and my place within the wheel at a deeper level? It asks you to be still. It asks you to reflect. It asks you, even when something is uncomfortable, to stop, to look at it, to acknowledge, and to be very honest with yourself. And it's a wonderful deck for this time of year. I think when I think of like moving into the underworld, that descent, I feel like the Weaver's Oracle is like that preparation you make before you put that pack on and go into that cave and head underground. So the Weaver's Oracle, very, very special for me, and it's definitely in heavy rotation right now. I lied, we still have 2 more left. Darkwood Tarot. I love this deck so much. I know it's out of print. I know I'm going to drive a lot of you nuts by showing it, but it is actually what I am using. It's so Crossroads, Southern Witchcraft, moody, mystical, vampy. I just love this deck so much. It's so irreverent. It's so in color theme. It's very in keeping with this time of year as well. And it is one that I think of Persephone in her dark phase and this is a deck that I use to connect with Persephone. So I really love the Darkwood Tarot. I know it's out of print. I apologize, but it is actually what I am working with right now. And it's a very truthful, honest deck, no holds barred. That's the Darkwood Tarot. And so it's really wonderful for like getting real with yourself, but also tapping into that sense of mysticism, mystery, and magic. There's still 2 more. I lied again. I forgot that I have my number 1. The Holler Moon Mountain Oracle. Guys, I unboxed this on the channel over the summer. I fucking love this deck. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I love it. I use it to clarify tarot every single day in client readings. I also love it for myself for like that quick draw when you just want some insight. Maybe you're not sure of something, you just need to check in, and so you pull a quick card to just kind of tap into like, okay, internal compass, where am I at right now? This is a great deck for that. It loves to travel with me. It's very... it's like it's an introvert extrovert, like it's a little bit of both. It likes to talk to others, but it also likes to be quiet and asks for reflection. So it's kind of that wonderful in between, again, liminal space. It's a great liminal deck. It's very practical witchcraft, folk magic witchcraft, and so I strongly recommend this deck if you find yourself drawn to the artwork. It's very powerful. My number 1 deck right now for this Mabon is the Earthbound Oracle. I love Syrian Shadows decks. I think if you've been on this channel for long, you know I'm a huge fan of Syrian's work. Any deck Syrian makes, I'm going to end up purchasing. And I love the Earthbound Oracle. This is the indie edition, and so I have no borders on it. If you purchase it now, it will be the mass-produced edition, which does have borders, so just letting you know. This deck is a great all-around deck. You can use it for everything. I can use it for spreads on its own, single card draws, and also to clarify tarot. It's very honest, it's very real, and the artwork is very hermetic, in the woods, fall, underworld vibes. So it matches perfectly with everything I've been feeling called to explore deity-wise at this point in time. And I love this deck. Every year, my love for this deck grows more and more. This is another deck that I never would have purchased if it hadn't been for a student who wanted to study with it. And I'm so thankful she did, because this deck is one of my best friends. Again, another 2 of Cups, deeply loved, just powerful, powerful deck that I feel so connected to, so joyful to share a journey with. And you know, if you're going to move into your underworld, you want that companion that you trust, but not a yes man. You want someone who's going to be real with you, and this deck will always be real with you, and it will always let you know what's going on underneath the surface. So the Earthbound Oracle is my number 1 deck for this Mabon. Feeling very, very connected with it, very inspired by it. So that's my list, guys. That's what I am working with. Let's just read that because it's so perfect. Surface the shadow, ground in earth, protect with bone. There's your Mabon mantra. Let me know what decks you guys are drawn to this Mabon as you prepare for the observance, as you prepare to move into that very liminal space, that in-between space, that dance between death and life and rebirth. What are you feeling called to? Anyhow, it's been wonderful to hang out with you for a little bit. I am sending you guys, as always, oceans of love, and I will, of course, see you in the next video. Take care.